What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Skill Up here with another Division video. Today we're going to be talking about a very unpleasant topic, and that topic is stealth nerfs. As you guys know, the G36 Assault Rifle copped an official nerf of 15% in terms of its base damage, and we were told about that from Massive. They told us themselves, and they actually told us it was coming a long time ago. They said the G36 was bugged and they needed to bring it down. So I've obviously said in the past that I don't think it should have happened because the current state of NPC health in the game, and also sort of things like the tactician meta, actually made the G36 fairly well tuned for current content. But I also simultaneously understand that the G36 was so ridiculously strong that you would pretty much ignore every other weapon in the game. So I see both sides of that, but I just think it's a poorly timed change that they've implemented with regards to this base damage reduction. On top of that, now today we have learned that the G36 has also copped some stealth nerfs to its accuracy and its stability, and I wanted to break down those for you so you really clearly understood what they were. So first of all, something I haven't actually mentioned yet is that the G36 has copped a slight reduction in its optimal range. It was 34 meters, which is the same as the SVD marksman rifle, and it's now down to 32 meters, which is still a very respectable optimal range. It still makes this weapon highly effective at those sort of ranges that you are engaging when we're talking, say, a more distant target or someone in the dark zone trying to run away, etc. So it's a nerf, but it's only a very small nerf, so let's not get too crazy there. The next one is it's a value in the game files called my recoil base, and that essentially is how much recoil occurs on the very first shot that is fired, okay? And it was set to a value of 0.5, and now it's set to a value of 0.55. So it's gone up, right? And in terms of how that manifests, it basically means that the weapon has more kick pulling up than it did before. And for you, that means that you need to put more stability onto your weapon than you did earlier. So the next one is a stat called my recoil increase per bullet. And what this stat essentially says is how much does your gun recoil after the very first bullet that you fire. The first bullet you fire actually has its own recoil value, and every bullet after that has a different recoil value. And this value was set to 0.03 on the G36 pre-nerf, and now it's set to 0.035, which means that with each bullet, the gun will recoil more than earlier, right? So that's essentially what that's saying. After the first bullet, every bullet after that is going to have more recoil than it did earlier. And again, this is your vertical recoil, your up and down. So essentially, this weapon is definitely pulling back at this point a fair amount more than it was in its pre-nerfed phase, in its pre-nerf state. The next stats that we have are my horizontal recoil left and my horizontal recoil right. So what you'll notice is that any gun in the division or most guns have a natural disposition to pull either left or right when you're firing them, right? And there's some variance in that. So before, the G36 generally pulled to the left, and its value was set on its left recoil at 0.028, and its right recoil value was 0.01. So it generally pulled to the left, like almost all the time, in fact. For some reason, the developers have basically just flipped this around, okay? And yeah, I mean, I don't know why they did this. It doesn't really make any sense to me. The values are exactly the same, as in it's 0.028 pulling right instead of, and now it's 0.01 pulling left, okay? So that actually makes no difference to you. In terms of the horizontal stability of this weapon, it's actually exactly the same. There was no nerf made to that. The big one, though, is my time to min accuracy, okay? That is the stat that determines how long does it take for your reticle to reach its biggest point, right? That's minimum point of accuracy, where it's hardest to control your reticle. How many milliseconds does it take to get to that point, okay? That value was set at 1750 milliseconds before. It's now at 1350, which is an increase of 29, or I should say decrease. It's a nerf of 29%. Accuracy on the G36. So that's a big deal, right? Essentially, it's a third of the accuracy of this weapon has been taken out of it. It's unfortunate. I agree that the G36 was a very stable and accurate weapon. I felt that the very minute I picked it up. I kind of felt like, okay, fair enough. If you wanted to make some tweaks based on its base power, you might do that. But stripping 30% of its base accuracy out is not probably what I would have done. That's a very, very large change. And yeah, it's not the only thing, the only stat when we talk about accuracy. There are other stats as well, such as how big the reticle gets, right? That's another factor within this. But the time it takes for our reticle to reach that size is obviously really important, because we want to spend as little time at that maximum point as possible, because that's the point where we are obviously least accurate. So yeah, that's what these changes are. Now, is the G36 still good? Absolutely. It's still a very, very strong weapon. It's still very stable. It's still very accurate. Like, it's still a strong weapon, and I don't want anyone thinking, oh my god, the G36 is trashed here. I still believe it's the best assault rifle in the game by the numbers, in terms of its rate of fire, its magazine, its per bullet damage, etc. All of these things in combination, I think, still make it the best assault rifle in the game. And in fact, its stability and accuracy is still very respectable. So it's not like this weapon has been rendered useless. It's just not as strong as it was before. And whatever your opinion on that nerf is, I think we can all agree that it's not cool that Massive did not talk to us about that. This was a gun that pretty much everyone was using, and we knew that it was going to get some changes. And fair enough, it was broken, you know, it was bugged. But to not communicate these sorts of changes to us, I think is a little bit disappointing. I think that obviously Massive and the community are a little bit at odds at the moment, and these sorts of things really just sort of you know, they make that trust building process harder. And I've spoken a little bit about this in the past, in terms of Massive really need to be very clear with us when they make changes or when things are broken, so that we can be really open. We can sort of really trust them with the patch notes they release and the changes they make to the game. Finding out this sort of way is not great, and it really, as I said, makes life a little bit trickier in terms of our ability to really trust and work with them collaboratively and have the right relationship with them. So yeah, it's disappointing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Obviously, no one really likes to see their weapons nerfed. I really like to see what you guys think of this weapon, though, in terms of how you're using it. Are you finding it's not stable enough for you? Are you sort of casting it aside now? Are you using something else? I'm personally never been using the G36 because I didn't want to get used to a weapon that was overpowered, but I'm going to be using it a little bit more now to get to grips with it and really get a feel for you know, how it's performing post these nerfs. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. But those are the numbers, right? It's copped those base stability, it's vertical stability reductions, right? It's copped no changes at all to its horizontal stability, and it's copped a 30% reduction in its time to reach that minimum accuracy point. So it's big. It's unquestionably big. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. I am going to be doing more videos this week, as always. There's a PP19 review, which I know I've spoken about a little bit, but it is on the way. I am working on it. That's coming soon. And if we have a State of the Game tomorrow night, I'm going to obviously do a State of the Game highlights reel. And of course, Saturday is my weekly Should I Buy It? I look at what the vendors are selling each week, even though the stock that they sell these days isn't particularly inspiring. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. If it has, please do remember to drop a like. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can hit that subscribe button now. Take good care of yourselves, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the Dark Zone. Bye-bye.